Hey, hello there. Welcome to Talking with Tony. We welcome back Danny Art today. Of course, you know Danny from his golf shows and his football shows, and I'm pleased that he is on vacation this week. Looks like you're having a fine time. Vacation looks like it agrees with you, and your face looks thin today, like you've lost some weight or something.
Well, I don't know if I've lost any weight or not, but and I really wish I was on vacation in that location in my background, but it's not quite as beautiful as that where I'm at. Still got a
You're
good
having a
view of my window.
staycation, I guess.
Yeah, staycation. Still got a good view of the pool, so I'm all right.
And you were able to watch the Georgia Bulldogs rally against the Tennessee Volunteers there at that setting, and then the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday Night Football. I know you were watching the Falcons at that location as well, so that it was a very successful, productive weekend for you.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. Nice relaxation, good weather out back, and again, another crazy finish by the Georgia Bulldogs this weekend. That was crazy.
What a pass by Gunnar Stockton, and what a catch by Humphrey there in the end zone on fourth down.
I tell you what, you got to give Kirby credit. A lot of the knocks and the complaints people give to him, oh, we don't know if Gunner's ready. Oh, he doesn't like to go to the portal. Well, he went to the portal and he got some prime candidates to fill some slots that he had, and then Gunner's pass was, to your point, just right on the money.
Branch has been quiet. Zachariah Branch has been quiet so far, but wait, it's coming.
He's got,
And he had I believe he was the recipient on the 2 point conversion, which is about as pretty as a 2 point play that you can see. And to that point about coach's criticism, Mike Bobo is often he's often the target, and I believe it's completely unnecessary. And I think that he doesn't get the credit that he deserves.
yeah, you and I sort of talked about that. He called one heck of a game, man. And I'm wondering, I've criticized Bobo in the past, and I think that's a long time ago. It sort of hangs on me. He's won me over a little bit. And I do feel like Kirby's probably reins him in sometimes, but when he let him go, he really gave him a chance in that game to call the plays, and he played great game plan. Branch has been quiet, a couple of real nice screen, quick outs to him. He's made some good yards after the catch. Again, to your point, beautiful, beautiful execution on that 2 point conversion. And I keep waiting on him to bust one, man. Every time I see him punt to us, if he's not back there, it's a little disappointing, but I think he's going to bust one before it's over.
Um, Kind of an exciting time for me. Yesterday, my latest book, That Winter When, WHEN, launched on Amazon. And the first day is fabulous. Now, look, I'm not going to get 6 weeks of summer was able to get to the overall number one bestseller. And we had a number one bestseller on the Christian inspiration and the new release for Fall on the Cover. This book is not going to get to the number one overall bestseller. And the reason is, well, there's a myriad of reasons, but the biggest one is the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And while we won't get into the details of that, Charlie's got 4 books. And one is not even going to be released until December of 2025, but it's at number one on Amazon, even though people can't even get it till December of 2025. And his other 3 books are all in the top five. And that's fine with me, to be honest with you. People can say, hey, it was a bad time to release a book, but this will be a good for his family and good for his legacy. So, but I am proud. Sits about number 32 right now, number three amongst new releases after one day, and that's pretty exceptional. And people are reading it on their Kindles and Apple iPads. And our host Jay Barton, he has a Kindle and he has it for one. So people who are digitally download books have been very kind to me. Danny, I always like to have a book in my hand to read. I'm kind of old school. How about you?
Yeah, I like to have the book in my hand. The way I see it, I do enough reading and looking at my phone and my computer all day with work and or just in general, talking to people. And I prefer just to read a book, sit down, lazy boy, you fall asleep, pick it back up, But it's I'd rather have the book in my hand. And congratulations, man. I'm glad you got out to a good start. Again, it doesn't really matter, you know, where you at. I mean, it's just your personal sales and what you get to, and I think what you're reaching an audience, and I think that's the key thing. The message you're putting out there is a great one, and tying it into a book that's even better. So
I
congrats again.
appreciate
I
it.
look forward to
That's
reading that.
mighty kind of you, and this will be no surprise by you, but you're in it, and you're in it a little bit more than you've been in the first two. Your playing days will wind down in baseball, and you'll move down to Hilton Head, but you're still going to be being friends with Miles. In fact, you guys go on a like a 2 week vacation to Hawaii together. So
There you go.
happy happy times are ahead. I'm sure. Maybe you can show him the ropes because you know a good bit about Hawaii.
Yeah, I guess if we stay on a couple of the islands, I'm pretty good at the. You nailed it though, man. I mean, Hilton Head. I'm an Atlantic Coast guy, Hawaii. So you got a good character going there. So
Danny, I won't have you back before the Ryder Cup. Kevin White's going to do the show next week, and I'm excited about that. But I want you to talk about the Ryder Cup, and I know it's a little unfair because it's still a little bit of time away, over a week away. But what is your gut feeling about the Americans' chances? Who do you think on this team is going to be clutch? And are there any surprises? And who can we look at on that same thing for that European side? It's really not, and I know I'm putting you on the spot there, and that's not real fair. There's a confluence of events there that I've really asked you to kind of break down. But what is your feeling on our chances?
I think if you look at where we stand, I've been watching a lot of the Golf Channel, and they're redoing the Ryder Cup, building up some of the greatest ones. That documentary, if you hadn't seen it on, the big five names when Europe really made it a competition.
Right.
Jacqueline was the captain. That's a great show to watch, by the way. I'll just put that plug out there. And that made this competition what it is, obviously. But I just feel like the American team is just amazing team. I mean, you got them here on American soil where they're playing in New York. A lot of people don't like that, the rude fans, the yelling and screaming. That's what they do. Ryder Cup is what it is, and that's a crazy place to for these foreigners, or I guess international team, I shouldn't call them, to come in and play. Scotty Scheffler is going to be himself. He'll be out there. JJ Spahn has been he's led or been in the lead of all the tournaments. Xander, Schauffele, Henley, all those pre-qualifiers are great. I feel like Keegan Bradley made some good choices with Justin Thomas. Uh, you know, I think Cameron Young's going to be a big impact over there. I don't care for Cantlay, never have, but you never know what he's going to do in this thing. But I think the American team's strong. I think the American team is going to win it.
I like it. I mean, I do. And look, now's the time to be patriotic and love this country as well. But Scheffler and Spawn, I mean, they are so consistent, and you would think that they will do very well. Now, look, I expect Scheffler to go out in every single deal. I don't know if he'll do that with Spawn. That the key will be the teams, and who you get paired with. But I've just had this feeling really for over a year that we were going to take this. Now, look, I'm not saying that European team's not stacked because they're good. I mean, they're
Yeah,
very
yeah,
good. I just have this feeling that the chemistry of this USA team, and part of it is the fire spark plug that Keegan Bradley is himself. They're going to play with a lot of emotion because he's that kind of player and he's going to be that kind of captain. And I think we're going to see what it means to them. And I think the crowds are going to be wonderful and wonderful for us at least. And I hope they behave well.
yeah.
But I like the Americans as well.
I don't know if you can get them to behave well, man. I mean, I'm just saying that crowd that's a strange bunch. And I'm not talking bad about New Yorkers, but they're weird. They're headstrong. They do what they want, and they're going to say what they want. Rory's been laying low and making all these weird comments. Not playing, talking about his legacy. I mean, he's setting himself up for a little bad karma when he shows up there. He gets a little bad round or hole or two. He could be tortured all weekend.
So we're both on record for supporting the Americans. Let's pick some football. Let's start with over in Europe, what they call football. I'll give you one soccer play. I'm 2-3 on the year after starting very badly. Manchester United and Chelsea are even, straight up. I mean, I'm talking minus 110 is Man U and minus Chelsea's minus 120. I'm going to take Man U if they're to win that game. All they need to do is win. If they tie, nothing happens. Hopefully, I'll get back to 500. We have five college football games. We have five NFL football games. I'm going to make selections in five games, including Arkansas and Memphis, a game that I will be at on Saturday. This is a huge game for Memphis now. People can say, hey, potentially win this game. You might be in the college football playoffs. A whole lot more football has to be played, but they know they have to win this game. They're 7-point underdogs. Through the years, they've been able to beat some really good teams at the Liberty Bowl at home. Now, Arkansas is going to have a tremendous crowd there themselves, and the game will begin 11 a.m. local time, which was not advantageous to Memphis. They were hoping for a 6 o'clock, maybe even an 8 o'clock kind of kickoff, but I'm going to go with the Tigers. It's like we like to say in Memphis, it's time to pounce or ready to pounce. I'm going to go with Memphis and their explosive offense against Arkansas's explosive offense. Not sure if they win, but I think they'll play within the seven, Danny.
I like the pick. That's a good pick. I've always been a big Tiger fan. I like the team. I like the way they run the ball. I guess maybe that's just my old school. Now they're not strictly a running team now, so that's a good thing. You got a little diversity in their offensive output. I think they look good. I thought they played very well against Troy, who, as we all know, kept those vaunted Clemson Tigers in a tight match. So, you can say what you want about Clemson. I think Clemson still got a good team. They got a lot of good talent. So for Memphis, I mean Troy to be able to do that and then ultimately lost, but Memphis to come out and never it looked in question at all. And I feel like they're in good shape. Home crowd, I'll go with them. I'll take Memphis in the points.
Earlier this week, you and I talked on the phone. We talked about my book launching on Tuesday night, and I asked you two questions. I asked you how Jana was doing because I frequently ask about Jana. And secondly, I asked you what game you were looking forward to most for the weekend. And you told me Auburn and Oklahoma. Oklahoma is favored by 6.5. What do you think about Auburn's chances there in Norman?
I think that to cover, I think they're really good. I think to win, they're good. I mean, I think you got a nice QB game going here. You got a little background, little ex-Oklahoma quarterback now playing for Auburn, and he's done exceptionally well in my mind. I told you at the beginning of the year, actually midsummer, probably I was pretty high on Auburn, at least to make a nice comeback and get in the mix. And what better way to do it than right here? Go to Oklahoma. Uh,
Who has their own transfer quarterback who's pretty special in their
yeah,
own in his own right.
Mateus is very good as well. And I'm not saying he's not, but I think I asked you when you said, do you really, I don't know if it was you or somebody that asked, do you really think, have you watched Oklahoma? And I said, ask you to ask yourself, how many times have you seen Oklahoma playing this well and then just lose inexplicably at home? I've seen it a few times. And I feel like that's what we're looking at. Oklahoma against the SEC. And again, I knew it's a new conference, but if they want to join up, join up. They've lost five of their last six SEC games. So I don't look for them to change it here. I'm going to take Auburn. I'm going to take the points. And I hope Auburn wins.
I appreciate that. And I'm going to agree with you. And I think Jackson Arnold is key, and I know he's a run first kind of quarterback. At least that's what he's showed us. But the Auburn wide receivers are very gifted, 1 to 5. And Cam Coleman has got to get more than 3 touches. I mean, that's just Singleton, the transfer from Georgia Tech, is exceptional in his own right. Horatio Fields is phenomenal. Thompson is phenomenal. Malcolm Simmons is pretty strong. Those five receivers are special. And him doing this, and he's made some nice reads where he needed to keep the ball on the ground. But I think you can't beat Oklahoma in just that manner. He's going to have, especially Cam Coleman needs to touch the ball 8 to 10 times. That sounds like a lot, but he is so physical of a wide receiver. He is so special And if I'm a stud like Cam Coleman, I get tired of only seeing three balls, a night to me and two on target. So yeah, I think that's key for Auburn. I'm with you on Auburn. Michigan is favored by 2.5. They go to Lincoln. Here's two blue bloods, Danny, playing each other. Gonna be an exciting football game. The Sea of Red will be out in Nebraska. How do you think the Wolverines do with the freshman quarterback themselves, Bryce Underwood, on the road?
I keep waiting on Underwood to have a nice breakout game, and this could be it. I mean, you wouldn't think Michigan's just a few years out of the national championship, right? I mean, they're not really in any kind of conversation here, um, besides just a nice big team. But you don't look at Nebraska. I mean, they're coming off pretty hot. They're feeling good, but I mean, you want to talk about playing some cupcakes. They say the SEC plays cupcakes. Go take a look at what Nebraska's done so far this year, and tell me they're ready for Michigan to come in. I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. Played Houston Christian last week, high school team. Now they're playing Michigan. I'll take Michigan all day long. I just feel
Okay. Michigan minus 2.5 is Danny's play on the road at Nebraska, road favorite. Miami of Florida is against Florida, and you have a five-star selection in this game. The Hurricanes are favored by 8.5. Now, the Gators have dropped a couple of games already. We're basically at the area where they can't really lose anymore unless they end up winning the SEC, which is, you know, entirely possible because one of those losses was to South Florida. And this is a non-SEC team they're playing this weekend. But their defense, Florida's defense is pretty elite. And I don't say that just haphazardly. But when you throw, when you need almost a second hand to count the interceptions that you're throwing it off, there's a problem. You can't just keep turning the ball over. And I see this as a five-star selection for you, and you like the Miami Hurricanes to put it on the Gators because they're favored by 8.5.
look, man, I got as much chance of winning the lottery Friday as Florida does winning the national championship, as you just said. But neither one of those are going to happen for your viewers, just FYI. But I mean, this lagway, how do you recover from that? I don't know how you recover from a game as bad as he had this past weekend. Beck has surprised me at Miami. I'm not going to lie. He's better, playing better than I thought he would, and I think the pieces around him are there. Um, I don't even know how you can't be all over Miami on this. And again, I hadn't been to, I'm not starting out great with my five stars, but I felt all of them. I know, I felt all of them.
Now you're one and
I
two. You haven't lost them all, okay? So you're 1 and 2.
I know. I really was surprised that I'm 1 and 2, but I'm going to keep going with this feeling I have. I just feel like this one is going to be easy, easy for Miami. And
If
if
it
Florida
makes you
does turn it around, you can maybe look back to this game as being a turning point in their season, to your point. Maybe they mess around and go on a run, but I just don't see how they could do that.
I believe their defense is good enough to keep them in every game for a while, but eventually that will of the defense breaks as well if your for offense is not productive and if you're turning the football over. If I can give you a little bit of good news, and when it comes to this panel, other than me being 6-4, just a little bit over 500, John's as good as he gets at 16-16. That's how bad you guys are performing. Fred
Yes.
Blatcher, for a guest that was the guest picker last week, I think did an all-time worst. I believe he won one game. He might have won two, but he didn't win more than two. Um, John's got Miami and Florida with you on his five-star, and he's
I
two and
like
one with his
that.
five stars, and he's 16-16. So that's the good news that I can give you. But if I can just give you the overall records of the panel right now, I don't really count. I'm 6-4. John is 16-16. Kevin is 14-18. You are third at 13-19. 6 games under 500 still gets you third place because Fred is 12-20. And as one other member of the panel called Stormy Weathers, he called him Mr. Irrelevant. I can't even say it without laughing. The final pick of the draft is always called Mr. Irrelevant. He said that's a good thing for Stormy's picks. That member of the panel said, whatever Stormy's got, I want the opposite, but Stormy is 11-21. He is 2-1 with 5 stars. Fred's 2-1 with 5 stars. So that's something to be happy about. I'm 2-1 with 5 stars, 6-4 in the football picks. So, but look, that's the good news. John's got his 5 star. He's with you with Miami, Florida.
Well, I don't want to go so hard on Stormy. I mean, he's doing well with his 5 star picks, but again, I think he does get a little, he gets a little blinder by the ACC sometimes in my mind. And everybody says, "Oh, I'm an SEC, chump or whatever." Look, I'm going with the ACC in this one. I mean, obviously, I
Yeah.
hate Florida Gators with a passion, but I mean, I'm making a solid pick here that I think is good. I mean, um,
Now, this next game is one that your opinion does matter to me because you have a close friend that's the Indiana Hoosier. Indiana's football program is on the rise. And I'll tell you that I'm on Indiana -4.5 at home against Illinois, but you aren't. And this shocked me. So tell me the reason that you go with the Fighting Illini, who have a quarterback that's been around Luke Altmaier for a long time. And look, this Illinois team, this is no surprise that they're as good as they are. Remember that that bowl game they played with South Carolina last year was played at a very high level. So this is no surprise how good Illinois is. But you either like them to go into Bloomington and win or be right there, field goal or so difference at the end.
I think yeah, to your point, Brian, he's a big Indiana fan. I've been watching Indiana a good bit. I always seem to gravitate toward some of my friends and football buddies' teams. But I texted him the other day. I said, is Indiana still scoring or what? I mean, they scored 73 on Indiana State. Now, what you don't know is they bought out Louisville so they could play another cupcake Indiana State before they got in the meat of their schedule. And I would have really liked to have seen that game against Louisville, just get a little idea, more of what we're looking at when we get into some better competition, you know. And for that reason alone, I think you got two red hot offenses. Uh, You know, the over is probably a good bet here, but if I got to pick, I'd rather take Illinois. I'm not saying Illinois is going to win it, but I think they can keep it closer than that. It's going to be a back and forth kind of scoring game. I think
Panel
could
is
prove me wrong the way I've been this year, and it's a 10-3 game, but I do feel like if here's if what it looks like and everything looks like it's going to be high score. Last possession wins it.
Well, here's the thing about you and your picks. You're 6 games under 500 right now. By the time the season is over, I expect you to be 12 games over 500. That means I think you'll net out at least 18 games the rest of the way. I mean, I feel it in my heart to be true. Let's switch over to the NFL, the Atlanta Falcons. Now, when I look at you guys 5 stars, I want to talk about Kevin for a second. Kevin loves the Falcons, I think almost as much as he loves Georgia. Man, he loves his Atlanta Falcons, and he's usually one who's like, well, sees the glass half empty. Um, he likes the Falcons this week. That surprised me. I figured he'd say, they just won a road game in Minnesota. They're going to fall back. He likes the Falcons. And if he likes the Falcons -3, I'm gonna make a big play on it. I don't even have it picked, but I'm gonna bet a big play because he'd be usually like, well, the Falcons are gonna get beat, because I want want him to win so bad. So that stunned me that he's got the Falcons as his 5 star. I'm gonna defer here, let you pick this game, and I'm gonna step out of it. Who do you like here?
Look, I like Kevin being strong in his passions with this, but again, I've told you I was big on the Falcons. And I told you in the opening game, if they blew it, which they shouldn't have, that I was fading them the rest of the way. That's what I'm
Yeah.
doing, man. Hey, I told you, if you put them on with me, I'm picking against them. And maybe it'll work out and the Falcons will have a great season because, there'll be 14 guaranteed losses I have or whatever. But I don't care. I'm not picking them until they prove me wrong. And I guess the only way they prove me wrong is to win the Super Bowl. Besides that, I can't deal with the Falcons, man. But I do think on a analytical note, I think the Panthers are having they got a quarterback that I think they can work into their system and he's doing well. I do think the Falcons have an exceptional defense, but can they not mess it up and lose by more than a touchdown? I don't know.
All right. Fair enough. Get the Panthers and the 3 points. This next pick, you and I are opposite of, and I'm opposite of every one of you who went with the Eagles -4.5 against the Rams. I'm going to go with the Rams. It's a rematch of a very good playoff game last year, played in tough weather. I'm still thinking about Kevin's convictions wasn't enough, like put you over there. It's hard not to, get that off my mind. But I'm going with the Rams. I think this is one of those games that might come down to a field goal or so. And if I'm +4.5, I'm the winner. You like Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, though.
I do like Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. And again, I think the Rams, I like the Rams. I like Matthew Stafford, good seasoned quarterback. He doesn't do a lot of whole dumb, stupid stuff like he used to do when he's young. So I could see it. But I don't know. I think Hurts does just enough and for the Eagles to win this thing. I think they're by far the better team.
No, Danny, this next game,
But I will
Cowboys and
say this
Bears.
before you
Okay.
before you get your thought, before you get your thought. I
Yeah.
do remember there was a game last week that only one person was against the panel on, and that person was you. And I remember that you were the one that came out on that as well. So this sort
Oh,
of
it
makes
was
it harder.
Stanford
Stanford, yes, the Stanford
+10,
game.
my
You were
5 star. And the line actually at kickoff was Boston College by 14.5. I mean, they just kept betting BC, but Stanford won the game outright.
big time won the game, man. I mean, you were
Yeah.
on it the whole way. So that one makes me a little nervous, but I'm gonna stick with it. Eagles -4.5.
This next game is so interesting to me. Some people play the survivor pool, and I do. And I was fortunate enough last year to go through some people call it the eliminator pool, where you take one NFL team a week. You can only take the team once, but they have to win. And I made it last year unscathed and won, and won some good coin. Last week, I had the Cowboys against the Giants. I was nearly eliminated in week 2. It took a 64-yard field goal at the horn to get me to overtime. And then it took some, fortuitous bounces in overtime to get me a win because if it ends up tied after 10 minutes in the NFL, you're not winning. You're eliminated from that survivor pool. You have to win. So I'm fortunate. I'm playing on lost time and I'm kind of not lost time would be the correct feeling there, but I would say this. I don't have a pick there, but I'll be pulling for the Cowboys the rest of the year because they kept me in it. They're at the Bears. The line is essentially even. Both of these teams need a victory.
Yeah, this is another one where, you would expect a lot of points to be scored here. Neither one of these defenses are playing very well right now. I mean, actually, not even, I mean, it's bad defense. You don't even just say not well. They're just playing bad defense. So I'm going to lean with the home team here. I'm going with Caleb Williams and the Bears just as a pick 'em here. And
Fair enough.
I know you need the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean they were good to me last week. I'll go ahead and so everybody knows I've already made my selection for this week because you can only take a team once. I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks. Basically, you like to use the term fade. I'm fading the Saints. I went with
Yeah,
the
okay.
Cardinals in week 1. I'm trying to use some teams that aren't the most dominating teams right now to have some of those to use later on this year. That's what I did last year. In fact, my last pick last year was the Ravens over the Browns. I remember it like it was yesterday. They played on a Saturday instead of playing on a Sunday, and I had a team that was favored by 12, 13 points in their, final game. That's how good of a position that I was sitting in. And so I try to save some of those really, really good teams to later. So I've took the Arizona Cardinals so far. I've took the Dallas Cowboys, and now I'm with the Seattle Seahawks. So if I can get maybe 5 or 6 of these wins using teams that we're going to be around 500, maybe a little bit better, then who knows? Maybe I'll still be around. As I like to tell my friends, you want to be around at Halloween. You certainly want to be around at Thanksgiving. And then when you go to your Christmas Eve service, Christmas time, you want to be around because you're only a couple more weeks away from making it, safely through the pool. So you can pull for the Seattle Seahawks against the New Orleans Saints. That's my survivor pick. The Cardinals, speaking of those Cardinals that I took in week 1, they're playing the 49ers in a battle of two undefeated teams. The 49ers have 2 road victories to their credit. Now, look, there are tons of injuries, both sides, especially the 49ers. No Purdy. The line, though, is around even. It might have moved to San Francisco by 1. Technically, in Vegas, for our purposes, is even. How do you see this game, Danny?
Again, I think this is the opposite of the last game. We got another even, basically pick 'em game coming up here. On this one, though, you got two teams playing really well, both playing exceptionally well. Defense is playing solid, offenses seem to be hitting on all cylinders. And I'm going to again go and lean with the home team on this, and I'll take the 49ers.
Stormy Weathers, the legend that is, five-star is the San Francisco 49ers. He agrees with you.
See, I agree with Stormy on a lot of stuff. Yeah,
Remember, he's 2-1 in his five stars.
I agree. Yeah,
So
good
he's
pick,
done
Stormy. Yeah.
he's done well. He has a chance to go 3-1. And if my math is correct, and I do have a minor from in calculus from Auburn University, my math is correct. That's 75% if Stormy gets that one home. So
75% got to move him up to, really give him a nickname like 5-star specialist.
five
So,
star Stormy, man, you
yeah,
know?
5-star Stormy. Here we go. You got to get a whole new screen thing. Jake will have to come up. I mean, that would be
Um,
impressive if he picks his, and I hope he does because I need to win bad.
Kevin White and I will need the same team on Sunday Night Football. I watched that Giants Cowboys game closely last week because I needed the Cowboys to win, and I do think that the Chiefs are in kind of a desperation mode. They don't want to be in desperation, which is 0-3. The Chargers are actually whoever they are now, the Los Angeles Chargers or whatever they're actually the favorite in that division out in Vegas now. But the Chiefs are favored by 6.5, and they may very well win that game. But I think the Giants have enough offense and I think the Giants defense is a little bit better than they played on Sunday, and maybe they can get some pressure on Mahomes. People like Thibodeau might get some pressure on. I'll go with the Giants plus 6.5 and just try to get them to play within a touchdown. I see that the rest of the panel, including yourself, is on Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, I can't unless history is going to change up. We're going to get a new little timeline going. I don't see the Chiefs becoming a non-factor this quickly. I really can't believe they go to 0-2. Now, there's certainly a way for them to go, I mean, 0-3. There's certainly a way to be 1-2, and still not cover this. But I think he's going to have to come out quickly. They're going to have to get out to a big lead. They're going to come out with their head on fire and try to get out to a big lead and hold it. And I think they can do that. I think the
Very
Giants
well.
still going to be reeling. That was a tough way to go last week, man.
Oh, yeah, that was a tough play. Let me run down everybody's picks, and I want to get a final thought from you, Danny.
All right.
Let's start with my soccer play. I'm 2-3 on the year. We'll take Manchester United to defeat Chelsea. That line is even. I've got five picks for you this week. I'm 6-4 on the season, 2-1 and five stars. I'll go with Memphis +7 game. I'll be a pull for the Tigers. I'll take those other Tigers in the next game. Auburn +6.5, 3:30 Eastern kickoff at Oklahoma in Norman. I'm going to go with the Indiana Hoosiers in prime time, favored by 4.5 against Illinois in a Big Ten matchup. Give me the Rams +4.5, even though they're at Philadelphia. Won't be easy, but I think that they could play within 3, maybe 4 points. And then the Sunday night football game, I'll take that home team. I'll take the New York Giants +6.5 against the Chiefs. Let's go to John. John is 16-16 on the year. He's 2-1 with his five stars. He agrees with me. Memphis +7. He takes Oklahoma, the home team, -6.5. Michigan -2.5. He goes his five-star right there with Danny. Five-star is Miami of Florida -8.5 against the Gators. He goes with Illinois +4.5. In the NFL, he takes those Atlanta Falcons -3, the Philadelphia Eagles -4.5, the Dallas Cowboys even, the Cardinals even, and the Chiefs -6.5 in the Sunday night game. Stormy is 11-21, but he's 2-1 in five stars. He's got Memphis +7. He goes with the Auburn Tigers +6.5. He takes Nebraska +2.5, Miami, Florida -8.5, and he goes with Indiana -4.5 in that big game against Illinois. In the NFL, he's no Falcons fan, but he goes with the Falcons -3, the Eagles -4.5, the Cowboys even. His five-star, the San Francisco 49ers even against the Cardinals. And he goes with Mahomes and the Chiefs -6.5 in the Sunday night game. Kevin, 14-18, 1-2 with the five stars. He likes Arkansas -7, the home team Oklahoma -6.5. He goes with Nebraska +2.5. He chooses Miami -8.5 and Indiana -4.5. His five star, we mentioned it, are the Atlanta Falcons -3, The Philadelphia Eagles is his selection -4.5 against the Rams. He's got the Cowboys and the 49ers both even, Dallas even and San Francisco even, and he likes the New York Giants +6.5. Don't have Fred's picks right now. He's 12 and 22 and 1 on the year. He's out on the golf course playing in a big money match right now, and he says he'll send them to me later, so we'll roll them at the end of the screen. Danny, 13 and 19. 1 and 2 of the 5 stars. Memphis +7. He's got Auburn +6.5. Michigan -2.5. Remember, we talked about his 5 stars. Miami of Florida, all about the U, -8.5. He likes Illinois, the Fighting Illini, +4.5. He selects the Panthers +3, the Eagles -4.5. Danny chooses the Bears and the 49ers in those two games that are even. And then in the Sunday night game, he goes with the Kansas City Chiefs -6.5. Final thoughts, Danny?
All right. Great. Another great football weekend starting off coming up. It's going to lead us into, we wake up Sunday, watch a little football, wake up Monday, we're going to lead us into Ryder Cup week. And to your point, I'm so excited about that. Can't stand it. Looking forward to seeing it and got to get out and play some golf. So watch a lot of football, go play a little golf, and get ready for another exceptional week. So
Danny, we hope you have a rest of the week is as nice as the beginning of the week as far as your vacation goes. Hope you enjoy that and you do get to watch a several wonderful football games, actually. And then the big game the next week, you'll be so focused on Georgia and Alabama. All the best to your family. For Danny Art and Jake Barton, who we always point out does a fabulous job in Noonan, Georgia. I'm Tony Jones. Kevin White will join me next week right here on Talking with Tony.